Hi Gerry, really well done on Tuesday night, pal. We've gone through quite a considerable amount in the hour that we had, so I hope you didn't leave, head too full by the end. I thought you did really well to hold on to what we were doing. Like I said, this will definitely give you some serious things to work on over the next few weeks. We'll start off at the bottom. So, start of the session, we discussed how there was your bad shot was there was either a straight pull or a lot of sort of push fades out to the right of the ball, either starting left and just going straight, or starting off to the right and cutting even further to the right. So obviously we've started off the session just discussing the relationship between the face angle at address and the club path, and how these can affect one another and how it gives you the ball flights that you were getting. So the first thing we're trying to do was to just try and get the path a little bit more out to the right, or at least a little less to the left. Obviously trying to get that path as neutral as possible. If you get it too neutral, you're never going to have too many issues, obviously providing that the face angle isn't too serious either side as well. So if we just start bottom left and we'll just go through what it was we were doing. Set up at address here, obviously we mentioned getting just a little bit close to it. I mean, you can see sort of the gap between your hands and the thighs, not a massive gap. You can see over on the right hand side, obviously this was an afterwards one. Just giving you a little bit more room, just makes it a little bit easier to get the hands swinging a bit more on an inward path. So if we just start this one off, we'll see straight away the hands come off the hand plane straight away. So we get to P2, the hands are already way above plane. Continue up to sort of P3, and you can see here that the hands have worked in this kind of direction rather than tracing an inward path around the body. And obviously this is quite a severe action. It's obviously going to give you the most left path. We discussed how Colin Montgomery was quite a big one for this, but because he then did other things during his swing, you could, even though his path was still left and he hit everything pretty much from left to right, he had enough inward to make it so it wasn't too bad. So it was still an out to in path, but it wasn't too severe. It was quite neutral, just with a slight fade bias. So what then happens here, now we get to the top of your backswing, you can see the hands quite high, you can see all of your shoulder, right arms come away from the body, and then from here now you actually do quite a good job of trying to get it back as inward as possible. You can actually see here at sort of P5, P6, it's not the most outward path we've ever seen, but obviously you've given yourself quite a lot to do from P1 to P2. Obviously coming into the ball here, club's way left, and obviously we talked about a little bit later on, we talked about how the spine's flex forward quite a lot, giving you even more of a left path. So the first half of the session was spent trying to neutralise this first move here. And you can use either Charlie here or Grant Waite above, obviously from a more of a down the line view. It's a really good example of this move. You just see how the hand just moves pretty much straight back on that hand path, making it a lot easier. So even if you're not really wanting to draw the ball too much, it makes it a lot easier to get a bit more of a neutral path. So let's just leave this one at P2, just to give a good reference point. So if we just compare the two here, you can see that obviously hands, arms, shoulder coming up as well. We talked about that in our last session, trying to work the left shoulder down a bit more. That will have its crept back in a little bit as well. So like I say, on the bottom right here, a little bit more room between the hands and arms, concentrating on getting the hands on a more inward path, and also trying to keep the club face pointing at the ball. We discussed how that would make it a little bit easier for the left shoulder to work down. We've drawn on the bottom here See the cane, we've got them angled in quite, we've got them in quite severe just to give you a good visual of what the club should be doing on the way back and then obviously on the way through. Start this back to P2. You can see there, obviously it's not perfect, but it's a much more neutral path than we had down here. Obviously, like I said, hands are still a little bit high. It's just take you back to up to P3. You can see there the hands and arms have moved in a much more inward direction. Like I said, just making it a lot easier just to zero out the path. Just make it as much as neutral as possible. We take this one here. You can see hands much more in this direction. We talked about trying to get the club at sort of P3 to try and trying to get the club to dissect the right bicep. Now it's not quite there, it's more like top of the bicep closer to the shoulder as opposed to the bottom of the neck here, so you can see where the club's dissecting the shoulder here. It's a lot higher, so it's a lot lower here. Not quite on it, but you get the idea. And like I said, this just made it a lot easier. You can see there, can't see it anywhere near as much as the shoulder. Just take Charlie back here, obviously he's very deep here. Just take that back to P3. You see obviously there the club's dissecting like the very bottom of the right bicep. Maybe a little too inward than what we're really looking for, but it's a really good visual for you to work on, something for you to think about. And then on the way down. Oops, sorry, this was actually a rehearsal one, so you can see here as we get back to P6. Over it. So, computer's just throwing a bit of a wobbler at the moment. Let me see if I can just get that back. Slowly does it. Back to P6, if we compare that to where we were at the start of the session. See the club much more outside the hands. The left arm is almost pointing away from your body rather than towards it. So you can see the left arm coming away from the body, whereas this one here is much more in. So a much better improvement. So really, really good work there. And then the last 20 minutes we've talked about, what I've done is here, I've got you all the pictures into a P7 position, so impact basically. And we talked about how the spine needs to left tilt, turn and extend in the backswing, which we're getting, and we're really working hard on that, and that's good. Now from the top of the backswing, you then need to right tilt, turn and extend. Also slide the hips. Now sliding the hips is something that most golfers don't do at all, never mind enough. So what we tried to do was try and give you a feel for what that would be like. And if we just have a look roughly from here, so from P7, P8, P9, you can see there's little to no extension in the spine, the hips, the neck, the legs aren't pushing up and straightening out the ground. And we also discussed how that is relative to your swing path. As soon as you flex forward more, the hips can't rotate as much, and the path's just going to go left. Now if we watch Grant Waite here from impact upwards is now is straightening the legs and raising the belt. So say P8 and P9. You can see obviously the chest flexed this way, pelvis flex forward, knees very bent. If you look at ground weight here, the chest extending, pointing up away from the ground, hips have moved in this direction, again extending out of the ground, legs straightening a lot more, left knee working towards the target. The left knee working towards the target is a telltale sign that the hips are moving forward. So the drill we got you to do, obviously while hitting balls, the thought was just to feel as though you were sort of tucking the hips under and straightening the legs, or raising the belt, so to speak. But the really good drill that we've got you to do here, we've got you to set up with more of your weight into your left side, so sliding the hips forward, and then from here feeling as though you are straightening the legs up and raising the level of the belt. Now if you just watch what happens straight away, just pushing up out the ground into P9, chest is pointing more up, the belt level is raised. We'll just highlight where it is at the start. Push up. You can see there it's raised quite considerably. All very, very good moves. So like I say as well, extending also helps to pull the arms away from the body on the downswing, or more out to the right, which will also help even out that swing path. I know there was a lot going on, but these were all moves that were really, really key to improving your consistency, especially with the driver. And I know we're struggling on the iron shots, we're not quite sure where they're going. Like I said, we're getting the straight pulls and the push cuts. All these moves that we practice during the session will help to even the swing path out. The club face alignment at impact isn't too much of an issue at the moment. You've got quite good control over that. It's just trying to get the path to match the club face more often. So good luck with it. If you've any questions, drop me an email. It's daleathletpga@hotmail.co.uk. You've got my mobile number. Best of luck. I'll speak to you soon.